Hello, everyone. A very important thing I wanted to share, and I hope all of you are doing good. Uh, there was one thing that people keep on have been asked to me a couple of times. That people ask a very simple but a profound question, is that how to assess the spiritual growth. So, how would one understand the person is growing spiritually? Or to put it in the other words, how impactful whatever you've been doing or whatever you think that you're trying to put yourself into a state of peace or calmness, but how would you assess that? Now, we do not have a machine to do that. We do not have something like a thermostat inside the body that will assess the levels of spirituality. But then what I feel is, in my observation, my experience that I see is that over the last 10 years is you can do that with a simple dipstick, not a very big science. You don't need anyone. Anyone in spirituality, you don't need anyone. It's just between you and yourself. You can do it with a simple dipstick. Just see and understand and be very high on observation, not judgmental, but high on observation, that how do you respond to your triggers. Now, if you're responding the same old way to your triggers, that means your spiritual growth is still stagnated. The levels of awareness has not yet grown. It's in the process, but it's not come to an evolutionary level. But if you respond to your triggers vis-a-vis reacting to it, that means you've taken a milestone ahead. So what I mean by triggers could be anything. Maybe a person, maybe a situation, maybe an event, maybe a set of people, maybe a set of community. Anything that triggers that volatile turbulence in you and breaks your stillness and calmness, that's a trigger. It can be a person. The person may have left you, ghosted you. So the person's absence can be a trigger. The person's presence can be a trigger. The person's upload on social media can be a trigger. The person's in and out of your life can be a trigger. So likewise, there could be anything, any event, any person. What were your triggers? So everybody has their own triggers. If you are able to do good on your triggers, you are responding to your triggers, you're no longer reacting to it. And a point will come, these triggers will not have any power over you. They'll just go fatal. There you've kept a huge milestone for yourself on spiritual life. So what I feel is, how can you see and assess your spiritual growth? Because these triggers will often come to the environment. These triggers will be repeatedly coming to you in the environment just to make sure that one day they become fatal. And this is the universal choreography behind this. They will not diffuse. On the contrary, they will come often. But then you need to assess. The simple dipstick is, see how you are responding to these triggers. If you're reacting, you're nowhere grown over spiritual levels. Whatever you are doing, it's just not working. For whatever reasons, I don't know why it's not working, why it's working. Also, I cannot answer that question. But then the only dipstick is, you've stopped reacting, but you're responding to the triggers in a calm and with a calm and a stillness flow. Your stillness is not broken. Even this trigger might come often. There you've taken a leap, at this point. So it's all about the triggers. Nobody can come from outside and tell you, or nobody can give you a report card, or nobody can give you a conclusion on yourself that you've evolved. People can give their observations on you. They can even give the judgments on you. But then these triggers, which will be coming, which you only know what your trigger is. But what's my trigger is, even I know that. What your trigger is, only you know that. Now, if you're able to handle that trigger peacefully, and a point of time the trigger does not exist anymore, even it's often repeats in the environment, you've taken a leap. So see how you respond to the trigger. And these triggers are everywhere in the environment. It's physical, it's psychological, emotional, it could be anything. So see to that. This is my way of assessing your spiritual growth. I hope it works with you. If it does, do respond to my video and let me know. And in case if you have something else that's on your mind, I'll be more than happy to hear that from you. Well, thank you so much for writing into me, and be watchful of your triggers, respond to them. And this comes naturally. You can't force yourself to respond to them. And another piece of thing that I can say, it just slipped my mind, is that some people ask how to respond. Now, again, nobody can teach you how to respond, but the only piece of experience I can speak on this video is that when the trigger comes, it gives you a kind of a flame, right? It's like boiling milk. But let the milk boil and then it subsides. But the human tendency, not the human tendency rather, but the ego tendency, egoistic human tendency is to jump into it even before the boil subsides. So if the trigger is boiling you, you need to see and experience that pain, and then it finally subsides. And once it subsides, you are in a state of responsiveness, not reactiveness. But if you jump before it subsides, then you will create more emotional turmoil, which is completely reactive. So wait till the time it boils and then it subsides is also a growth of your spiritual awareness within yourself, or you can call it consciousness. So once you are able to hold on to yourself, to take it to its peak and then it subsides, you automatically become responsive. So this entire process in you is showing that you are moving leaps in your spiritual journey. All right, so I don't want to take this too long. It's a Friday evening. Enjoy yourself. I thought it's quite. I thought it was quite thoughtful as well as mindful to speak this to you, because many people ask this, how to assess. Nobody can assess from outside. It's just your response to your triggers. That is the only dipstick that I see. All right, thank you. Enjoy yourself. Stay self. Stay engaged. Thank you.